And there's as part of this nature, Allah Azza wa Jalla, He didn't just create us out of one thing, He created us out of two components. One component is our body. The other component is what? The ruh. يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الرُّوحِ قُلِ الرُّوحُ مِنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي. Right? Two components. Now, one of these components, when Allah talks about it in the Qu'ran, He actually humiliates it. Allah says, أَأَنْتُمْ أَشَدُّ خَلْقًا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ. Right? Are you a tougher creation than the sky? Banana. He created the sky. How pathetic are you compared to the sky? Then He says, قُتِلَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا أَكْفَرَهُ. May the human being be killed, this forgetful human being, he should be destroyed. How horrible, how obnoxious his disbelief. مِنْ أَيِّ شَيْءٍ خَلَقَهُ مِنْ نُطْفَةٍ. What did He create him from? From literally sperm. From a dirty fluid that people wash off of their clothes. Something humiliating. That's where He began. Right? خُلِقَ مِنْ مَاءٍ دَافِقٍ. He came out of a water that gushes out. A fluid that gushes out. A humiliating beginning for the human being. So when Allah speaks about the physical human being, He reminds us of our humble beginnings. But when He speaks about the ruh being blown into to Adam alayhi salam, and then into the children of Adam alayhi salam, He says, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. We honored the son of Adam. Same human being, right? On the one hand, Allah is humiliating the origins of this human being. On the other hand, He's honoring them. SubhanAllah, the same human being. So in it is something that will bring us honor, and in us is something that will bring us what? Humiliation. Both of them are inside of us. Both of those things are there. So فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. We heard that even today. Both things are inside. Now Allah Azza wa Jalla created this nature inside of us. And we know the urges of our body. Hunger, shelter, to provide a roof over your head, to put clothes on your body, to dress according to the weather, climate, to clean yourself. These are needs of your body, desires towards the opposite gender. These are needs of your body. You don't have to be taught them, you feel them. Allah has predisposed them. زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ حُبُّ الشَّهَوَاتِ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ وَالْبَنِينَ وَالْقَنَاطِيرِ الْمُقَنطَرَةِ. There are some things we're pre-programmed with to love. We love some things. We don't have to be taught to love them, we just love them. A child is not taught to love to play. Right? They're not taught to love to, they just play. It's natural to them. It's natural to them. A teenager is not taught to be concerned with their appearance. They become obsessed with their looks. Naturally. وَزِينَةٌ. Right? A young man or a young woman is not taught to become full of themselves, or to show their accomplishments, or to show people their diploma, or what college they go to, or what GPA they got, or whatever else. They're not taught to do that. It just comes. It's just part of being a human being. But on the other hand, Allah blew into this human being a ruh. And this ruh is from the amr of Allah. Shah Wali al-Nahawi, a remarkable scholar, talked about the different kinds of creations of Allah. And he made a distinction between tadbirullah, and then the khalqullah, and amrullah, awamirullah, right? And in the world of amr, the ruh is from the amr of Allah. But tadbir is like, Allah plans, for example, He creates the seed, and it's part of Allah's planning that seed will turn into a tree. It takes time. It takes time. It's in the world of time and space. But the amr of Allah is timeless. It's something that was all of our arwah, all of our souls were created when? All at the same time. This is in Surah Al-A'raf itself, right? أَلَسْتُ بِرَبِّكُمْ. Am I not your Lord? All of you. Kum is plural. All of us were created at the same time. Because that's from the amr of Allah. You know what else is the amr of Allah? The book of Allah is the amr of Allah. The angels come with the amr of Allah. Right? So, بِإِذْنِ رَبِّهِمْ مِنْ كُلِّ amr. Right? They come down by the permission of the Lord from all kinds of umur of Allah. This is the amr of Allah. Now the thing is, our body, Allah created it. Allah says, خَلَقَهُ مِنْ تُرَابٍ. He created it from dust. From that fluid. All of these things are worldly, right? Earthly things. So all of the needs of the body are where? On the earth. The food of it comes from the earth. The clothing of it comes from the earth. The shelter of it comes from the earth. But the ruh that Allah gave, did the ruh come from the earth? Did Allah create this? Is this a worldly thing or something from the heavens? So from the heavens. The angel delivers it into the womb of the mother, isn't it? So when the body gets hungry, its food comes from the earth because the body is from the earth. But when the ruh gets hungry, where can it get its food? It has to come from where it came from. And that is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah gives the example of the ruh, or the fitrah of the human being, as light. Another way of looking at it is light. And light that is inside the heart of every person. Every person is born with it. كُلُّ مَوْلُودٍ يُولَدُ عَلَى الْفِطْرَةِ, as we find in the hadith of the fitrah, right? That's recorded in Al-Nawawi also. So that every human being has this light inside of them. They're predisposed to know Allah. I'll tell you something interesting. There are many aspects to the fitrah, but something on the side that you should know about fitrah. I used to be in this social psychology course. Take a social psychology course if you get a chance. It's very interesting. It gives you good perspective on human fitrah. Social psychology is mostly a study of how people interact with each other. You know? And we were in the chapter of lying. Of course, this is at my college, and non-Muslim professor, non-Muslim students, everybody's non-Muslim. And we're studying the chapter on lying. And they make a distinction between professional liars, like criminals and actors and politicians, etc. Professional liars, as opposed to first-time liars. People that don't really lie for a living, but they're put in a situation where they have to lie. And the guy who's a first-time liar, you know what happens to him? The pitch of his voice goes up, right? His blood pressure increases, the hair on his skin rises. But he's put in a position where he has to lie. There are some physiological effects. He starts sweating. Right? He feels like a thumping. Now, all of these things, I stopped my professor. I said, well, lying isn't like a pill you take or some physical thing. It's a psychological thing. It's in your head. So why are all these physiological things happening? Like the blood pressure increasing and the hair on the skin rising and the sweat pouring. These are physiological things. Sweat pours when you're hot. Right? Nothing physical happened to him. He's just lying. Why are these physical things happening to him? You understand? How something abstract is causing something physical to happen? So now, you know what my professor's answer was? That my non-Muslim, agnostic, non-religious professor's answer was this. He said, from what I can tell, the human being was not programmed to lie. That's what his answer was. In other words, he confirmed the existence of what? The fitrah. Allah created this fitrah on truth. It is not, it's disturbed by falsehood. It's disturbed by falsehood. And when the ruh is disturbed, its manifestations come even on the mind. But then you can become immune to that. Eventually you can get rid of it, and then your body feels nothing. You feel no remorse. So this is a little bit about the fitrah. Now I want to tell you some things about how Allah challenges this fitrah. I want you to think of our concerns in life in 3 levels. 3 layers of concern in life. There's a kind of person who's only concerned about themselves. How am I going to pay the bills? Where am I going to get the job? When am I going to graduate? Who am I going to get married to? Right? How am I going to pay off the house? Which car am I going to get? What about my savings? Etc., etc., etc. Just themselves. Maybe at the most themselves and their family. That's their only concern in life. And there are a lot of good people like that. That their only real concern is themselves and their family, their children, their parents, etc. Then there are people who take a step a little further. They're not only concerned about themselves, they're concerned about the rights of others. These people, Muslims or non-Muslims, they become activists. Maybe they become animal rights activists, right? Maybe they become civil rights activists, right? They become all kinds of activists, and it's not even that their rights are being violated. They're more concerned with this idea of other people's rights being violated, right? Sometimes it's for themselves, but they say, no, it's for generations to come. We're going to fight for their rights, right? Or it's for the planet Earth, or whatever it is. But it's beyond themselves. They're concerned with something beyond themselves. And of course, we consider these people at a higher level than the people who are only concerned with themselves. Right? This is at a little bit of a higher level. But then there's even a higher level of thought. So this is, the first level is for yourself. The second is for justice, just generally the concept of justice. And then there's a third level. And this third level is a person who thinks even above this and says, why have all of us been put here? What am I doing here? Where are all of us headed? I mean, there's so much injustice on this earth. There are so many things inside of me I feel a void of. There's something empty. There's something hungry inside me, like that ruh is hungry. Where do I feed it? I can't fill that void. I tried filling it with music. I tried filling it with clubbing. I tried filling it with drugs and with alcohol. Nothing filled it. I'm trying to figure out what can fill this void. And maybe then, if I can find how to fill that void, maybe my personal concerns and the concern for justice, all of them will be solved. If we could just figure out that, the ultimate truth, the higher truth. Most people don't think of that. Most people stay at the first 2 levels of thought. Either they're concerned about themselves, or they're concerned about some contemporary issue, but they're not concerned about truth itself. Right? What is the ultimate truth? What is my purpose in life? These are not the concerns. The Qu'ran, subhanAllah, addresses people at all of these levels. It addresses people at all of these levels. It comes to the one who's only concerned about himself. And you know, the one who's concerned about himself, when he buys something, he wants to make sure that he gets the full amount that he paid for it. Right? He gets the full amount. But when he goes to work, right, and he gets paid from 9 to 5, if he leaves at 4:50, he doesn't feel so bad. He doesn't feel so bad because, I mean, come on, take it easy. But if he was buying something from someone, if he hired somebody, and the guy was leaving 10 minutes early, what would he say? Hey, I'm paying you for 10 more minutes, you stay here for 10 more minutes. You follow? Allah says, وَيْلٌ لِلْمُطَفِّفِينَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا كَانُوا عَلَى النَّاسِ يَسْتَوْفُونَ وَإِذَا كَالُوهُمْ أَوْ وَزَنُوهُمْ يُخْسِرُونَ. Well, ultimate destruction of these people who slice off a little off the top. Tatfif al-mizan is not cheating big millions of dollars in business. It's just slice a little off the top. Take a little bit off. So the guys, there's a scale of 2 pounds and there's rice of 2 pounds. The guy will take a handful and put it back.